Keith, and it's very important to highlight this. Keith keeps referring to the God of the Christians and the Jews, this whole Judeo-Christian idea that the two are the same. Basically that they have the same God, the Jews and the Christians. Now, keep in mind, Keith, can you bring us to anyhow and from anywhere that Jews today are worshiping Trinity? Because you're saying, let's see,
in order to mislead people away from the true God of the Holy Bible. Therefore, the Allah of Islam is Satan, since Muhammad claimed it was the same Allah as the pagans. That is the argument. Now,
okay, wait, yeah, and I do want to, before I get to the issue of the Christians and the Jews worshiping, their God, I do want to address this point, and let's listen to it once more.
I am aware of the law was nothing more than a concoction of Satan in order to mislead people away from the true God of the Holy Bible. Therefore, the Allah of Islam is Satan, since Muhammad claimed it was the same Allah as the pagans. That is the argument.
That is the argument, it says. That is the argument. So, just before I get into the next point that I tried to state before, he's saying that the argument is that Hubal and Allah are the same, right? Let's listen. I want to listen to it again. I don't want to misquote it.
Hubal. Since Hubal was a pagan deity, this means that Allah was nothing more than a concoction of Satan in order to mislead people away from the true God of the Holy Bible. Therefore, the Allah of Islam is Satan, since Muhammad claimed it was the same Allah as the pagans.
Now, did Muhammad claim that Allah was the same Allah of the pagans? That basically that he was Hubal, that he was the same exact one, that Hubal and Allah are the same? Did he claim that, hey, what you guys think of Allah is exactly my God, and what I think of Allah is your God? All right, and Keith goes on to say that the only problem was that the Quraysh were just associating partners with Allah. They were just associating partners with Allah. That was the only problem. The issue of Allah was not the issue. The Quraysh claiming that Hubal is Allah, Muhammad claiming that Allah is Allah, and that is the same as the Quraysh Allah. Therefore, Muhammad claims that Allah is Hubal, pretty much. That's the logic, that's the reason, that's the argument of Keith truth. Now, pay attention. He quoted, just before now, a bunch of verses stating that basically people associating partners with Allah. Surah 23:91, 39:3, and so on. And then he goes on to say
that contradict these verses. Hubal, since
watch. Very, very simple way to destroy his argument. Now, Keith, don't cry. Sam, don't cry. Don't jump around. Don't jump up and down, because Keith, obviously speaking for Sam, says this is the argument. This is the argument. Allah and Hubal, right? Basically, Muhammad thought that his Allah is the same as the Quraysh. The issue, and I want people, and I'm always stressing this out, go and read the Quran. Go and read the Quran. This would help you a lot. This will help you a lot to understand, right? Every time, and you will find Prophet Muhammad is calling people to the worship of the Creator. He's calling people to the worship of the one that they should worship. So basically saying, Allah is your God. I'm telling you who Allah is. I came to clean up the mess that you thought was Allah, with all these idols having daughters, having so on, so sons and so on, including Christianity, having sons, including parts of Judaism and so on, and so claiming that Uzair is Allah's son, including people claiming that Mary is also divine, including many other issues. That's what Prophet Muhammad came. He did not say, hey, you're Allah, my Allah, we're good, man, but we just need to get rid of those partners. No. That's why, for example, when the Prophet said, talking about Ar-Rahman, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in one of the treaties, and the Quraysh says, who is this Ar-Rahman? We don't know this Ar-Rahman, right? Asma wa Sifat. not the same. Because Keith Ruth, and I really commend you for quite a good pronunciation and knowledge of Asma wa Sifat and Tawhid Rububiyyah and Uluhiyah and so on and so forth. But as you've used it, they were wrong. They said, we don't know this Ar-Rahman. Who is this Ar-Rahman? What are you talking about? We don't know you as Rasulullah. Just write Abdullah. We don't know this Ar-Rahman. What do you call it? Ar-Rahman. We don't know this guy. Who is this Ar-Rahman? Just say Allah or say this or or that. So you have to be very, very careful with what you throw, Keith and Sam, because it's gonna end up biting you. Now, let's go very simple to the argument. Here we go. It's 2-4. Let's pull out a very, very nice argument. This is a hadith in Bukhari. And now, be careful. Because Sam, throughout his shows, he always attacks Islam through Bukhari and Muslim, so on and so forth. So Sam has to accept this as proof against his argument. On the day of Badr, the people and his companions, the Prophet and companions had caused the pagans to lose 140 men, 70 of whom were captured, 70 were killed. Then Abu Sufyan asked thrice. They're sitting on different mountains. This is during the battle of Uhud. And he says, what did he say? Abu Sufyan asked, is Muhammad present among these people? The Prophet orders companions not to answer. Then he asked thrice, is the son of Abu Quhafa present among these people? He asked again thrice, is the son of Al-Khattab present among these people? He then returned to his companion and says, as for these men, they have been killed. Omar could not control himself and said to Abu Sufyan, you told a lie by Allah, O enemy of Allah, enemy of Allah. Did he say, hey, you guys have the same Allah, you're an enemy of Allah. All those you have mentioned are alive, and that which will make you unhappy is still there. Prophet Abu Sufyan said, our victory today is counterbalanced to yours in the battle of Badr, and in war is always undecided and is shared in terms by the belligerents, and you will find some of your killed men mutilated, and I did not urge my men to do so, yet I do not feel sorry for their deed. After that he started reciting cheerfully, O Hubal, be high. Ooh, now hold on a second. The Prophet ﷺ, look at this. He says, look for up right here. What does the Prophet ﷺ say? Okay. He says basically, don't answer to him, don't answer to him. Okay, basically saying, don't answer to him. But then Umar Khattab could not hold anymore, right? He could not hold it anymore. He says, the Prophet ordered his companions not to answer him. However, when they're saying about people, they're insulting. But look now what he's saying. He's saying, O Hubal, O Hubal, O Hubal, be high. On that, the Prophet says he can't take it. He cannot take it. Why don't you answer him back? Now he says, the Prophet says. And then Omar says, what should I say, Allah's Apostle? He says, say Allah is higher and more sublime. Abu Sufyan. So Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Then Abu Sufyan says, we have the idol Al-Uzza and you have no Uzza. Again, he's trying to bring an idol. The Prophet said to his companion, why don't you answer back? They said, well, Allah's Apostle, what should we say? He says, say Allah is our helper. You have no helper. You have no helper. So look at that. Now, did the Prophet say, Hubal, I can't insult Hubal because, that's really Allah. No, he says, Allahu Akbar. So how can Hubal be the same as Allah? What kind of perverted argument and perverted rationale can someone bring and say that Hubal and Nar are the same, basically, and